Mindy Maass. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
I think everyone will probably hear some stories from you, but Mindy, I think the one thing that everyone that does know about you is that you have an insane community.
Really do feel like I have the best customers in the world, and not just saying that, like I feel that way because they are so good to me.
You make sure to never cross lines that alienate your customer.
I want my customers to know that they can leave the real world just for that time we're live and not think about the things that are going on in the news.
You've overcome this really tough challenge of going from powerlifting to then being bedridden.
I was a power lifter. I was really, really good at it. It was my entire life. It was almost like my entire personality. I'm a very competitive person.
I've seen that it kind of defines a lot of your decision making.
I do everything very, very different than any other boutique that is my size boutique, right? I buy wide, I don't buy deep.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adil Mitha, and I'm one of the owners of GRACE+EMMA. We are so honored to be selling to thousands of retailers all across this great country. Here's the thing, many of you come up to me at market and you tell me you love the show. That's awesome. Here's the thing though, we get a lot of clicks, we get a lot of listens, but the number of subscribers are just not increasing. So before we start, I have a huge favor to ask. Can you go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the show? You just have to do it once and boom, you automatically get a notification every time we drop a new episode. If you're feeling extra generous, go ahead and hit that like button as well. It really helps the algorithm. This way we can get in front of more retailers, but also it tells me you're listening and you enjoy the content. With that being said, on with the show. Mindy Maass, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I'm so glad you're here. I've known Mindy for quite some time, and I have all these stories I always share to my friends and to people I know. I always pull up your app, and I'm always saying, oh, she's done this and she does that and she's doing this and doing that. This is going to be so inspirational for so many to listen to. I think if I was to kind of make buckets of your life, and we'll hear themes about this probably through the questions, but if we were to do buckets of your life, I would say the first bucket is competition and building strength.
Yes.
Okay. And then another bucket is, or I guess a chapter of your life is restriction. Okay.
For sure.
And then the third bucket, and kind of what you're living now, is cautiously thriving.
For sure.
So I think everyone will probably hear some stories from you and see why I feel this way about these buckets. But Mindy, I think the one thing that everyone that does know about you is that you have an insane community. The community you have built with your team is just phenomenal. I think everyone probably who's any other boutique owner that's watches your lives and sees the engagement, they probably all wonder how you built it. And then how do you keep them coming back and feeling connected to you and what you've started?
So I want every single customer. I really do feel like I have the best customers in the world, and not just saying that, like I feel that way because they are so good to me. I want them to feel special. I want them to feel loved. Every time they jump on, I want to say, hey, I want to learn about them. When they comment stuff, I try and remember the things they've said. Of course, when they come to our charity prom and I get to see them face to face, I remember their dress. I remember the things they said at prom. I want them to know that I am so grateful and that I love them. And I want to keep them coming back because they are having fun. They are getting out of the real world for a little bit and just doing what they love, shopping, laughing, joking, living carefree. And so it's so important to me that they know that not only I care about them if they're sick, if they're not feeling well, we'll definitely, how you doing, how you feeling, heard you had surgery, that kind of stuff. We always try and go that extra mile to know about them. If they're going to watch me every day, I want to know about them. I want to know all the things. And I think that's what keeps us so close knit and them coming back because they want to see, they want family. In everybody, the only thing we have in common right now is a cell phone, right? For the most part, everybody's got one. And it's really the only thing a lot of people look at every single day. And so they know that in that phone, they're going to have a positive experience. If they jump on a Mindy's live, it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. You never know what's going to be said, but you're going to have a good time.
Are unapologetically Mindy.
For sure.
Right?
Always.
And so this, it's not just your style. You have this amazing, bold personality as well. But you make sure to never cross lines that alienate your customer. You just talked about being family, and I noticed that about you, that you never talk about things that could potentially hurt someone that means a lot to them. And politics, for example, right? So there was some big event that happened recently. How do you handle things like that? And how do you make sure that this doesn't affect business?
For me, I want my customers to know that they can leave the real world just for that time we're live and not think about the things that are going on in the news. Obviously, the things going on in the world are terrible and it's sad, but I want people to come watch Mindy's not to have to deal with the sadness. I want them to come here for a break from that. That is on every social media, that is on every television screen. It's everywhere. When they come on Mindy's, I want to have fun and laugh and joke. And I know, especially in really sad times, that's hard. But I think people need it. I think there's so much negative in this world. I think they need that little bit of time to laugh, joke, and have fun. And a lot of times when big events happen, I'll say at the very beginning of the live, I'll say, hey, listen, I know there's a lot going on in the world, but let's not talk about it here. Let's talk about all the good, the fun, the funny. Throw on some clothes. Let's do what we love, which is shopping, laughing, and possibly winning a giveaway, and not think about all the craziness, even if it's for that 1 or 2 hours a day. It gets their mind off the heart, because I think there's so much negative going on in the world, and so many negative, because it just gets so much more hype than the positive stuff. So I want to try and keep everything positive always. So that's why we just don't bring that up.
I think you said something that was really key, is understanding like your role as a live seller, as a boutique in people's lives, right? You know, if a celebrity talks out about a political view that you don't agree with, we often say, hey, we don't really care about what you say. Can you just act, please? Right?
Yeah.
And then the day after, that terrible shooting happened.
Yes.
I was walking through the airport Thursday morning, and sports news was on. No one was talking about that shooting, right?
Right.
They were talking about sports, because that's their job in people's lives,
right,
is to talk about sports. When you turn on ESPN, you're not expecting to talk about these other things. So I think as humans, we do want to talk about it because we think about it. That if a terrible thing happens,
right,
you want to address it, but kind of acknowledging it and then moving on, it helps create that escape for people.
That's exactly what I do, is I acknowledge it, say my thoughts on it and my 2 cents. And people don't have to agree with me. And I go, I always say, hey, we don't have to agree. That don't mean we can't live and be happy together.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't shop with me. We don't have to agree on everything. I don't agree with a lot of different stuff, but that doesn't mean we can't still be friends. Don't care who you voted for. I don't care about anything. If you are a good person, that's all that matters to me. And we also, if we have someone that, I don't care if they're the biggest shopper we have, if they are mean to others, we end up blocking them. If they're trying to talk about all this and then they get ugly about stuff because we're not talking about it, we block that, because I want it to be a positive experience. I don't want negativity. I want it to be fun, happy, that kind of stuff. And that kind of vibe always. I want people to laugh. That's the main thing. There's not enough of that going on, and I definitely want to make more of that.
I love that. Well, speaking of bringing people together, you did this amazing event, and you've been doing it for quite some time. Mindy's prom, right? Your big prom event.
It's amazing. I really can't even believe it's happened, how it's happened, how it came about. It's shocking when I think about it. When I looked at the room, it brought me so much happiness and just reignited my fire for everything too, because when I see all these women that flew from Maine, we're in Texas, so they flew from all over the country to be here to support our charity. We pick different charities every couple of years. This year it was the DFW VA Dogs of Texas.
Wow.
And so they train dogs for veterans, which is incredible. And I love that. But we started the charity event because everybody wanted to come and, hang out, kind of a meet and greet kind of a situation. Then I was like, if everybody's coming, this needs to go to a good cause, right? This needs to be a fun event, but we need to put all this money together for a good cause. And that's what we decided to do. And meet our customers one-on-one. We even have a pre-prom event that people, if they don't want to come to the big charity event, they can come to the pre-prom event too. So it's been great to get to know our customers, to their customers feel good about giving back. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
it's really been a dream come true. I never dreamed in a million years that when we started this 5 years ago, that every year would be bigger and crazier. And,
I still remember when you started, it was like, you said, oh, we're throwing this prom. And I was like, what? Yeah, it's truly grown a lot. And I love seeing all the pictures afterwards and hearing all the stories. I mean, people coming in from Maine. You told me about this one customer who was feeling like lost in her
life.
Yeah, lost in life. And then she came across you guys. She flew to this prom.
Yes. So we have not just one, we actually have many that have the same story, but her kids were grown, her grandbabies were grown. She didn't have anything to look forward to. She was bored. She was lonely. I mean, obviously she has her husband and stuff, but she just didn't care anymore. She had no fire, right? She had nothing to look forward to. Well, she came across us on a t-shirt cutting. Well, then we start saying hi to her. We start seeing her on the lives. She starts buying the stuff. My sister's really good about putting the clothing together and telling people what to wear. I design and develop most of it, but Misty is really good at putting it together to wear. So Misty was telling her how to put it together, how to take selfies, how to, just dress and feel better about yourself, right? If you feel better about yourself and the way you look, you're going to feel happier. You're going to feel so much better. Her husband's like, y'all do whatever you want. She can buy whatever she wants because she's a different person. She's changed that much. She's come to all of our events. We also have a twice a year sidewalk sale just to give back to our locals that helped us all get started. She's come to that and now came to prom and the pre-prom event. So she told me, well, there was so many that told me, you've changed my life. You've changed the way I look at my body. With me being a plus size woman, I don't think very many, there are some, they don't get on there and they talk about being plus size. Listen, these jeans are going to lift your butt. These jeans are going to make you look like you lost 10 pounds. All of that stuff. And I try and preach to everybody, no matter what, do what you want to do now, because what if there isn't a tomorrow? Don't say, wait till you lose weight, wait till you gain weight, wait till I have a facelift, all that. I want people to know they need to do it now because you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Don't wait, because what if there isn't?
Yeah.
Time is the only thing you can't get more of. So, but prom's exciting.
Well, and speaking of time, I early on started with the second chapter, talking about the second chapter of your life, restriction.
Yes.
Right. And I think, the story that you had told me was this feeling of, is this really my life? Right. I think it's like this amazing story of resilience. And I'm going to ask you about it. I hope you're okay with that.
For sure.
But you've overcome this really tough challenge of going from powerlifting to then being bedridden.
Right.
Right. And now look at you. Right.
I was a power lifter. I was really, really good at it. It was my entire life. It was almost like my entire personality. I'm a very competitive person, not with other people, but with myself. Because if I know I can do better, I want to be able to do better. So I was a power lifter and then got hurt. So I went from doing all these sports and powerlifting to literally had a spinal cord injury, and I thought my life was over. It was 14 years of over 30 back surgeries, my hip redone, my tailbone removed, which was a nightmare, by the way, and feeling like this cannot be my life. I feel like I was supposed to do more. This can't be real. I had a lot of doctors that I kept saying something's wrong. I'm still having problems. They would say, oh, you're structurally sound, for years. And it was so incredibly frustrating. I finally found a doctor that said, well, what if I just open you up and do an exploratory of all your previous surgeries on your back? And he did it. Ended up being like 7.5-hour surgery. He found a screw in one of my original titanium cages, had backed out and was causing a secondary spinal cord injury that I didn't know. So I was in and out of a wheelchair. I couldn't drive. I was on a walker. I had ramps had to be built on my house. My husband and my mom and my entire family had to take care of me. Junior was so great. And Junior and I met, we had nothing. So it's crazy that here we are now and that he believed in me, and who would have ever dreamed. But finally, I woke up from that surgery that was 7.5 hours, and they had found one of those screws that backed into my spinal cord and was causing a new spinal cord injury, which meant he fixed it. And I knew the moment I woke up crying, and Junior and my mom are like panicking, like, what's happening? And I'm like, he fixed me. I was so relieved. I knew, even with that giant surgery, I knew that instant because I could feel my legs again and my legs were working properly. I mean, I had to go through a lot of rehab and a lot of water aerobics and all this stuff to get back to where I am now, which is also one of the main reasons that I had to own my own business, because I've still had 30 back surgeries. I've still had my hip redone. I still have all these major problems. So there might be days I can't do it. That's why I don't travel a lot. I've been given a lot of opportunities that I can't take because I can't just jump on a plane and go somewhere and do something. It doesn't work like that. But luckily, because I own the business, if I'm down, my team helps me, and if I can't do it, heck, Junior's had to go up there. Missy's had to go up there. Even my mama, Mindy can't do the live today. We're going to do it. So, but I can't believe I'm here for sure.
So when you're at that low and you started to feel like you're coming up again, you and Junior started planning a wedding, you had done all this stuff, and then reality hit again.
Yes. So I was also like 300 pounds and I had lost like 139 pounds because once I decided I'm going to do something, I'm very hyper fixated on it. Nobody can stop me. We're doing it. And that's what Junior and I did. We lost a bunch of weight together. I went and bought a size 6 wedding dress from 300 pounds. And 2 days before we were supposed to go to Las Vegas to get married, I woke up and couldn't walk. My legs didn't work. I had another problem with my spinal cord. And so I ended up, on the day I was supposed to be getting married to Junior, having to have emergency surgery again. And it was definitely a setback, but at least this time it was not as long of a setback. It was only about a year setback, but it was not great. And I was very frustrated at that point.
I think that's...
And gain the weight back.
But I think that's why you do carry this like cautiousness to you. Like right when, I mean, a lot of people who'd be sending out the thousands of packages you do and selling to thousands of customers like you do daily, they would probably think, oh, I'm golden. I can do whatever I want. But because you've had these like moments of, hey, I'm good, and then reality hits again.
Yep.
I've seen that it kind of defines a lot of your decision making.
For sure. So, and
yeah.
I do everything very, very different than any other boutique that is my size boutique, right? I buy wide, I don't buy deep. That way, if I have to turn and burn at any given time, we're also a debt-free business because I never want to owe anybody, because what if tomorrow I couldn't work? That's also the reason that when I say do it today, if I want to do something, I want to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now, because what if I can't tomorrow? So that's super important to me.
I've also seen, and this could be some advice you could probably talk about, but you've decided to keep your team very lean and mean, right?
For sure.
And considering all the packages you guys send out and how you guys are doing, I see this, I've seen a lot of boutiques doing this for 11 years now that will start off and then get this huge wave of success, and they start hiring lots of people and build out these huge teams. And then sometimes things change, right?
For sure.
What's been your reasoning for keeping more of a leaner team?
I stay lean because we have found, even in the little bit of hiring that we've done, I'm very fortunate that it's a lot of my family. So it means more to them. It just means so much. And I do a lot for my team that I have because I want to keep them happy and there and working for me good because they want to. I feel like the more staff that you get, a lot of times the less work gets done. I know that sounds crazy, but I have seen my shipping team of 6 people do the most insane amount of orders. But when I had pulled everybody and had, 11 people back there shipping, it's not that many more orders. And I'm like, that seems crazy. But if you get too many, everybody's trying to do the same thing. And it really kind of slows it down.
Yeah.
So that's why and I don't want the overhead. I don't need 1 million people. And I can't tell you how many times people go, oh, you don't feel well, just cancel the live. I have a whole team of people that are waiting, for them, that is their money. That is their paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to cancel a live. I've only missed 3 Thursdays in 9 years.
Wow.
And 2 of them, I was in the hospital about half dead. So
what kind of things are you doing for your team to feel appreciated? I mean, I know you feed them a lot.
yes, we definitely feed them. We are definitely, we love that. I love to eat. So I'm like, they will too. We do paid holidays. Most of them are off on the weekends. We do prom. They get to come to prom and bring someone with them. Lots of lunches. We do lunches on Friday once a month. We do donuts once a month. We do snacks from a bakery once a month, like just different things to make them feel appreciated. They always get 50% off anything.
That's awesome.
And we have, because I want them to want Mindy stuff, right?
Yeah.
I want them to love it. We have a little suggestion box so they can put suggestions in if they have a better idea of how we do something and stuff like that. Also, I think it's very important, and I think a lot of boutique owners do not have this. You got to get a no person. You're still the boss, but you need someone that goes, are you sure you want to do that? Like, do you think that's the right decision business-wise, money-wise? Obviously, we have the last say so, but if everybody that's around you, this goes for athletes, this goes for anybody in business. If you don't have someone that's, saying, hey, listen, what about this, this, and this? Even if you just ask ChatGPT, eventually it's going to tell you what you want to hear because you're pretty much training it. But, get someone that's maybe a mentor, something like that you can talk to, or find someone that cares about your money. That's super important, because I know people that have a lot of yes people around them. They end up going out of business because everybody's going, yeah, yes, let's do this. Yeah, let's all fly to Hawaii and do a 2-week photo shoot and, all whatever it may be, which sounds great. Don't get me wrong. I would love to fly my entire team to Hawaii and do that stuff. But is that really worth it? And if you do that too much, you're not going to have the money to get what you need for your business to grow, for your business to do anything. So I definitely think it's important to get a yes person. I mean, a no person to help you, because a lot of people around you are going to say, well, of course I want you to get that gorgeous new car. I want you to get this or that, or do this or do that. So I think that's very important in business too.
I think, one thing I've learned, and I've kind of transformed in this matter too, is like, people who work for you want just a healthy place to go work, right? Mentally healthy, where they don't come back stressed home. And I've now changed my thinking more so to be, how do I make sure that when they're done at work, they go home and they're the best version of themselves. They can be present with their family. They feel accomplished on the day. They feel like I got the right amount of things done today, where I didn't overdo myself, but I also didn't feel like I didn't have meaning in my work. They need to feel like, everyone should feel this sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. And whenever you do kind of go back home and you've crossed a bunch of things off your to-do list because you had a really productive day, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm a better dad then. For sure. I'm a better husband, 100%. Even though I had a busy day. Yeah. And so sometimes feeling busy means that you're not having a bunch of people working around you. It's because, everyone around you depends on you to take care of that job.
I think that's been a really big learning lesson for me as I grow, is as the business grew, I knew how I wanted stuff done, and I knew I would do it the best, but it got to where I couldn't do everything. So I had to learn to delegate better. Yeah. I'm getting better. I'm not perfect at it. I think we all need to learn and grow. I think that's a big deal too. I think so many people are not willing. I already know how to live sell, right? I want to learn. The more I can learn, the better I'm going to be. If there's something that I can do better, I want to do that always. So I think that's super important too, is learning and growing and all of that stuff. And I feel like I can always be a better boss. I can always learn more. I can always do more. So I want to work on that more. That's why we did the suggestion box too. We do it anonymously so they can, say, hey, I want this, or hey, can we try this, or whatever. And so far that's been working out really good.
So you had talked about learning, right? And you said that you even did a session with some very professionals in live selling. Yes. And now I will say you are the professional of live selling. the creme de la creme when it comes to live sellers. You know what you're doing, and you attract a lot of people, a lot of viewers to just see the show that you put on. What would you say? What are your what would you say are the top tips for running an engaging and successful live show?
The main thing is you cannot be a Debbie Downer. That is a big deal. And I see so many people that look at their viewers and maybe something's wrong. Maybe that day Facebook isn't working. We'd never look at the viewer count. If I only have 5 people or if I've got 5,000 people, we do not know. We're going to have fun and we're going to laugh and we are going to joke and we're going to do all the things, whether we have 5 or 5,000, because I've seen so many that are like, it's not working. The viewers aren't working. I have no viewers and they're just so down. Well, the people that are there watching you, they didn't came to hear about who's not there.
Yeah.
They want to hear about who's there.
Yeah.
And so we don't ever look at viewer counts. You know, I mean, sometimes we'll say, oh, something isn't working. If something bit like Facebook didn't work at all or something, you know, and we may change that, but we don't look at viewer counts at all. I think for live selling, you have to be fun. You have to be excited about it. If you're not excited about the product, nobody's going to care. That's the thing. And if the customers buy into you and what you stand for and what you believe in, they're going to buy anything you sell. It doesn't matter what you sell. At that point, if they're buying into you, they want to, if you're always having fun, looking like you're having fun, you know, that kind of stuff, that's what they want. And if it's the clothes that's doing it, they want those clothes. If it's the jewelry that you're super excited about, I always say this is my favorite. And I had someone say, well, you say everything's your favorite. I go, well, I have millions of things I could choose from. And these are my favorites that I picked. Yeah. Because every boutique owner really is only showing you their favorite stuff. They didn't buy the stuff they didn't like. Yeah. They're only showing you their favorite stuff. So are they hyped about it? Of course they're hyped about it because it's their favorites.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah.
Like, and I know that my stuff, and I hear this sometimes, oh, your stuff is old school. Your stuff is like 80s, 90s, like rocker, leopard, and neons, and rhinestones. And yes, baby, give me all the 80s, give me all the 90s, give it all to me. I love it. The more bling, the more bold, the more crazy, the bigger the hair, all of it. I love it. And hey, that's not for everybody, but there's boutiques that don't do that at all. And my customers love the 80s and they love the 90s and they love the crazy bling and the crazy everything. Our brand Rebel Raven, that's really the main reason I started Rebel Raven, is because everybody was doing the newest, most modern stuff. And I'm like, I want to bring back some leopard print. Yeah. I know it's really big again this year, but I've been doing leopard print for a very long time. And I'm like, I want to bring back leopard print and neons and, I mean, just big, crazy jewelry. You know, I want all that. Cut t-shirts, t-shirt cutting tutorials. That's a big thing for us. That's how we get so many new customers. So
because the thing you mentioned was like, whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, yep. That really reminded me of the time we went live with you at in 30A. I think when we started, there wasn't very many viewers and stuff. We just started getting goofy.
For sure.
And we started having fun. People started commenting. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the viewers popped. And yep. It was an insane live, right? Yep. I think the key is like, you just go with the flow. You go with this dedication that we're going to be entertaining. We're going to have people feel something. So you talk about this a lot, feeling something and whatever content someone puts out. What were your three factors for creating content?
For creating content and in lives, for anything you're doing on social media, if you want something to go viral or you really want something to be good, you have to make the person learn something. So teach them something. My t-shirt cutting tutorials, you know, that's something. Or they have to feel something. They have to feel happiness, sadness. Oh my God, look at the dog saving the baby, you know, whatever it is. We even post I call it my grand dog, but we post him and Junior playing together because it just brings happiness, right? That's it. It brings happiness. You see a dog playing with a guy, that's it. It's fun and happy. So learn something, feel something, or make them love something. So you have to show why you love that, whatever it is, so much that they feel that love. So learn something, feel something, or love something is so important.
So that's why saying like you're giving your stamp of approval on these favorites that you
Yep.
talk about. That's that third bucket is like
Right.
saying that, look, this is why I love this. You could probably love this too in your
Yep.
closet.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I always say, I love these jeans because when I put them on, they make me feel 10 pounds lighter. I love this because I'm always hot, but it's mesh. So I'm not going to be hot in it. I love this because it's shiny and blingy and rhinestones. And you can't get better than that. So
Yep.
that's the main thing for me. And teaching people stuff, even if you think it's dumb. One time I saw if you're not going live, even if you have a storefront, you have to go live. It's the only thing is cell phone's the only thing everybody has. Nobody's watching. I mean, people are, but people are not watching YouTube ads that much. People are not watching the ads near as much as they used to. They're not looking at billboards as much. They're not listening to the radio because they're streaming. The phone is the thing we have. So whether you have a storefront or anywhere, you need to be going live. Even if you're not live selling, go live in your store and show what you have. Say, come see me on your lunch break. I can't tell you how many boutique owners are telling me, you know, Mindy, I'm in a very small town. I'm losing everything and I need to get more people back in my store. And my very first question to every person is, are you going live? Well, I don't want to live sell. It's not about live selling. You don't have to live sell. But if you're not going live, your billboard, social media is your billboards, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going live anywhere or posting content anywhere, nobody even knows you exist.
Yep.
Even when I had my storefront, it was in the middle of nowhere. I'm not even kidding. We didn't even have a stoplight, but people sometimes would be lined up at lunchtime to get in and get a top that I had posted live or content on. So that's so important.
You got to be you got to be your own best salesperson and get the word out there. You had talked a little bit about family, and I think we kind of brushed it over, but I think that's a really important dynamic because that is the case for a lot of boutique owners. They work with their families. In your case, your left and right hand are your sister and your husband.
Yep.
Right. And then you also have other family members or very close friends that also work with you in different levels of the company.
Yes. My mom is my warehouse manager and my Aunt Donna is also in the warehouse. So and a lot of my team have been with me 5 years or more, which is crazy. That's another thing that I do for the team. At Christmas time, we do this big saran wrap ball with the craziest prizes in it. And my team looks forward to it every single year. So, you know, I was going to take them to a nice dinner, which I thought would be, and then I'm like, but that's so not Mindy, right? So we started doing this Christmas ball and my team, they're so excited about it. They cannot wait. So that's something super interesting too, that, you know, you can try something different with your team. So sometimes it's something different that they're so excited about that you would never think of before. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's a big lesson that you learned is like how your brand as Mindy's Boutique needs to be reflected, even how you treat your customers to how you treat your staff. Right.
Sure.
So it needs to be reflected that way. So what are some other lessons you've probably learned working with family or working with friends that you would say that, you know, this is the Mindy's way?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate because my family is so good. Not all families are that good. I've heard, you know, horror stories are like, how do you work with? I'm like, I'm really lucky. I have the best family. I know there are horror stories out there, but I'm so lucky. And because my family treats the other team members well, because that all trickles down, right? So because they do that, everybody kind of becomes family because you're with these people more than you're, you know, you're really at home. I mean, obviously you're at home more sleeping and stuff, but so I think that's so important is that not only is your family working there, but they're also building your team up, being good to your team and that kind of a thing. But I could not do it without my sister does the lives. I have an amazing team. I also have a mother-daughter duo that does the lives. And of course, without my husband, Junior, he's the one that believed in me. Even for 3.5 years, we didn't make a dollar. I put every dollar back into the business that he made, every dollar. And he had a good job. And he never once doubted me. He's like, no, I know you're going to do this.
Wow.
I know you're going to do this. I mean, there was a time or two that he was like, when do you think this is going to happen? You know, but he's like, he saw how hard I was working. He always says, I'm like, why did you let me keep going and let me keep breaking you literally? using all her savings, using everything, and he's like, I just knew you could do it. I just knew you would
That's
because
great.
know how you are. So I knew you could do it. There was times I wasn't sure if I could do it or not. But then when it finally turned over, he waited until 5 years in because he helped me on Thursday nights, and then everybody fell in love with him. So our Thursday night live is me and him, and it's just us bickering back and forth, him being completely inappropriate and wild, and I never know what he's going to say. And I'm like, oh my Lord. And everybody loves it. But, without him, none of this would even be possible.
Well, and talking about the impossible, you launched a video game, right? And there's always these things that you do. Every time, like, I'll catch up with you after like 60 days, and you're like, oh, I'm working on this new project. And you're always taking this path less traveled. But whether you're talking about the video game, how you integrated AI, how you're doing all the crazy things you're doing with Rebel Raven, what's your reasoning for going this weird, like a different pathway than everyone else?
Well, I got really fortunate to be able to meet Brandon Cruz, which is the one who founded Comment Sold,
Yeah.
right? And he told me, you can do anything. You can do anything. Everybody puts herself in a box, and there is no box. And I think that's also important because I remember one time I saw a boutique owner put her numbers, and we don't talk about numbers. A lot of people don't talk about numbers, right? Well, boutique owner posted one time, and she put on there, and I thought I was killing it, man. I didn't know this was like 7 years ago, and she posted on there that she was doing $500,000 a month, and I thought that is impossible. There is just absolutely no way. What in the world? And then I went and met with Brandon, and he said, not only is it possible, you could do it very quickly. Like, you need to quit looking inside the box and know anything you want, you can do it. You just have to do it. And I was like, whoa, so it is possible. I have confirmation that it's possible, and now there's boutiques doing multiple millions per month in sales. So
Yeah.
there is no stopping. There is no like limit at all. Anything is possible. And so once I heard that, and always be nice to people. This is so important. Be kind. Even if they burn you or if they do you wrong or whatever, no matter what, always be nice. Be kind. You ain't got to be nice, but you got to be kind. You don't get run over, but you got to be kind. The reason I got the video game is because someone that I had met through Brandon Cruz all those years ago that was an app developer ended up being someone that made video games for Roblox. And he remembered me years later. So when I was looking for someone, I knew somebody that knew me personally. And so that's also what's kind of happened with this lifewithmindyandjunior.com, which is going to be a subscription based, eventually reality show. So that's coming soon. But we've got cookbooks, daily journals coming, like a 30-day workouts with Junior, 30-day how to get a better self, like the things that I do to tell myself I can do all these things, right? And how I do it, how I write down my gratitudes and all that stuff. So all that's coming to lifewithmindyandjunior.com. So I'm super excited about that.
So from the digital side to the physical side, people are just building connections with you guys at every level, right?
For sure.
And so that's where I see this. How are you planning on using AI? I know you've already started.
Yes. So we are using, there's so much crazy going on with AI. The other day, they're like, okay, Mindy, we're going to use this, take a picture of your body. And it put the swimsuits on me in different fabrics. And I'm like, this is great. I love making swimsuits, but I hate trying them on. So, just so many things, virtual try on, so I can see what that will look like in that fabric when I'm designing my brand. So many different ways. I mean, I literally, stuff that used to take me 2 or 3 days, I can put in a chat GPT. For instance, let's say I'm naming eyeshadows and I've already got this whole thing that I'm going to do for my cosmetics company, right? We did like a Checkmate eyeshadow palettes coming. Before, I would have to find all the not trademarked names, not copyrighted names that could be used for eyeshadow that were to do with Checkmate that I wanted to name stuff. I can now ask that in the chat GPT and say, I want 250 names that go with this theme and it will give it to me in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I just go pick what I want, right? So
Do you ever think that it's
crazy.
gonna like turn off our brains because of like how accessible the knowledge is now or the ideas are?
1,000,000%. I think also I've even noticed your chat GPT, any AI is being trained by humans, right?
Mhm.
Yes, it's a robot, but it is being trained by multiple humans. If you continue to train your AI to look in a certain direction, it's going to look in that certain direction.
Yep.
So just be very, very careful of that. So, I mean, I use it for little things like that, but if you're using it, I know people that are like, oh, I use it for all my therapy. I don't use it for therapy, but I do use it. Let's say I have an incident with a customer and a customer's upset, right? I will say, this is what I would say in this situation,
Mhm.
because I always want the customer to be happy. And I hate to say this, but sometimes the customer is not right.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just mad at the world and they take it out on you.
Yep.
I had someone call me every name in the book, leave 17 comments on a t-shirt cutting tutorial about how terrible that person I was because they didn't like the way I cut a t-shirt. Now, did I do anything wrong? No. Did I deserve to be called 17,000 names in 17 comments? Absolutely not. But there's always going to be people out there. So I do ask ChatGPT also, help me answer this, to make sure I'm on the right track. I still answer it the way I want to. And, and AI is also doing a bunch of answering people. I will never answer you that is not my own words. So I will say, should I say this or should I say that? And get an answer.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to let AI write my answers ever.
Yeah.
That's just not my way.
I want you to kind of put your psychic hat on for a minute. So I don't generally see you as someone who worries about the future or about the things you can't really control.
Nope.
But if you were to make a prediction about the future of boutiques in America or the brands in our industry, what would you say?
1,000% it's going to be about connection because you can always get it cheaper. Anything that anybody sells, you can find it cheaper. It has to be the connection. They have to watch you or shop with you because of the connection to you or your team. Because, for instance, like we discussed this, I make 75% of everything I sell, right? But I still shop with your brand because of the connection. You know what I mean? All the brands I shop with because of the connection. Me as a boutique owner, but customers is the same exact thing, right? They are shopping because of a connection, because they feel something when they talk to you. I love that you're a family owned business. I love your story and I love your family. That's why I shop with you guys. I love your team. That's exactly why they shop with me. And I think boutiques, if you don't have a connection or something they're going to you for, so you either have to have really cool stuff that nobody else has, or they can't get cheaper or whatever, or you have that connection to people and make them feel something.
So
they got to feel something.
Often people think connections in person. You clearly have been able to prove that wrong. So what do you think about the future of live selling?
Oh, it's going to be in China right now. I think it's like 87% of every item bought is from a live sale in China. And we're just way behind China on everything. That's just the way it is. So live selling is only just getting started. And not only that, if you want to do it, there are so many opportunities to start. Yes, I did use Junior's money. We had no credit. We had no funds to start a business. I mean, I've trained boutique owners and they're like, well, I have $250,000 to start this business. I'm like, wow, I didn't have $250,000.
Yeah.
I literally started the whole thing with like $300 and finding a location that would sell me some dresses. So, which is how I ended up finding you a little bit later. So yeah, I think anybody can do anything they want. And if you want a live sell, it's time to get in for sure.
So I think like it would be really good because there's probably some boutiques that sign up with us daily that say, hey, I'm just getting started. I have no clue what to do, but I just know I want to carry stuff like what you guys sell. They look at Mindy's boutique and sees like these crazy numbers of viewers, and you can probably just assume what you guys do in numbers. Let's tell them your journey of like what was like the reality of how you started. How many shipments were you doing a day when you first started? versus, you know, if you can just give a hint at what you're doing now.
Yeah. So when we very first started, we were in a she shed in my yard, which was 120 square foot. I had no interest in going live. I had no professionalism at all. I'm who I am all the way around. When I say no professionalism, I mean it. I am now, but then I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, I don't know how to do a live sell. I don't know how to sell anything to anybody. I don't know how to do any of that. The good thing now is if you want to start a business, if you want to do anything, you have ChatGPT, you have Google, and you have YouTube. You can literally train yourself to be pretty much anything but a damn astronaut. I mean, like anything you want to do, every piece of information is online. So you can absolutely get anything you want to do. But we started in that she shed, and I literally went to Dallas because there's wholesalers in Dallas. And I went to open pack wholesalers, which like you are, that it was super important to me. And I bought what I could afford, which was not very much. I would bring it back to my little storefront and people would come in. Well, one day this girl goes, hey, you need to go live on Facebook. And I'm like, I don't want to go live on Facebook. She's like, yeah, you need to. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just go live on my personal Facebook. I had like 15 people watching. Probably 10 of them was my family. And I went live, showed a couple things, and people just commented in the comments what they wanted. And I was like, nobody had to come here. I got to ship it out. That's crazy. Like, what in the world? So the next week, I went back to Dallas. I got more stuff. I said, we're going to do it at the same time, which happened to be Thursday night at 7:00. Bought a bunch of stuff, sold every single piece on that live. And then PayPal, which I was PayPal invoicing, said, oh, no business grows this fast. We're going to hold all your money. So I had no money. I couldn't even ship the product. Couldn't do nothing. So I offered somebody, this is crazy. This is so crazy. But I offered at that time, I'd spent everything in junior savings, you know, getting it all going. And I had offered someone 10% of my company for $3,000 because I needed $3,000 to ship all those packages, right? And they said, no, I just don't think it's going to work. It just seems crazy. Someone's going to sell clothing online when people can't try it on. And I said, well, I'm going to try it on for them. And they're like, no, that just seems crazy. And so they didn't do it.
You probably wouldn't take 100 times that now for 10%, right?
Not even close.
See?
Not even close.
Crazy.
The amount of money that I think about that I would have been given away now, it literally makes me sick to my stomach. Back then, we shipped like maybe 10 packages a day, if that, when we first started. I remember when we did our first truckload, you know, and now we have an 18-wheeler that comes every day at 3:20 to pick up the packages for the day.
Wow.
So, and bypasses all the local post offices and takes it straight to the hub. From literally, I was so excited when the whole back of my seat of my truck was filled up with packages. I was like, oh my God, there's more packages than we've ever sold, you know? And then now we have an 18-wheeler that comes every day at 3:20 to pick them up.
Wow.
Which is also, this is very important to me, the trucking company is another small business that is thriving from Mindy's Boutique. So I love that so many businesses, my customers, I always tell them that's so important to me. You are not just supporting the economy, right? And Mindy's Boutique, you are supporting your brand, my brand, the trucking company's brand.
Yeah.
That is a small business owner. We have blown up so many small businesses. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It makes me so incredibly happy. So
the donut shop that you go and get donuts every month from, they probably look forward to seeing you.
Well, or a catering company, catering company that we use for prom every year is a local small business.
Yeah.
Like so many different things. And we get specialized birthday cakes for every employee on their birthday. So they get a cute, like, if they're into working out, they get a working out cake. And it's like a big cake. And everybody goes, takes pictures. We sing happy birthday on everybody's birthday, and they get a really cool cake. And so they love that they get the personalized cake. I forgot about the cake deal, but they love that, which is so weird. Who would have ever dreamed a personalized cake? They would love that so much, but they love it.
It's special. So I'm going to ruffle some feathers now. There's always a lot of chatter about brands in our industry, wholesalers by that standard. So like we are a wholesaler. There's mixed feelings about if we should also be selling direct to consumer. I know there's a lot of people that do it. We have a retail website. How much do we do? I would be excited if we sold 10 packages a day now.
Right.
We're probably doing 1 or 2 packages a day, like if that, on the retail site. 99.9% wholesale. Now, the flip side of that, though, is that a lot of people see that we have a retail website up and they think I'm in competition with them. They don't know my numbers. I'm saying it now.
Yeah. Right.
But they don't think about that. They just assume that I'm competing with them. What is the line? Like, what is the line where wholesalers and boutiques can coexist?
Well, here's the thing. I get both sides of it, right? Because I'm not a wholesaler, but I make my own stuff, right? So I understand a little bit. We're all trying to make it. We're all small businesses that are just trying to make it. And I know I'm super grateful that even in this hard season that we're doing well, but I know some people are just trying to make it too. So that's important to me. I don't want them to go under because maybe I'm making more of my stuff when I was one of their biggest customers at one point. Now I make the stuff so they're not making as much off of me. So I can't have say so in their business if I'm not doing a ton of business with them, right?
Yeah.
I don't have say so anyways, but on the same hand with that, if you are going live with boutiques, there's a fine line there, right? If you are going to sell retail, it can't undercut us because then we have to not do it, right?
Yeah.
Because people are going to go to the cheaper place. Obviously, I want to save money. Everybody wants to save money. I get that. I totally get that. So that's my whole deal. I don't care if people retail. I get it. Small businesses need to make it. But you can't undercut me. You can't sell it to me for one price and then say, well, my retail side is going to be half that price or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
You cannot undercut me because then I can't do business with you anymore.
And that's totally fair. I think, there's this idea, because I do talk to a lot of boutique owners that are hardly selling 10, 12 packages a day themselves. They are often the ones who are calling us saying, why do you guys have a retail website? And I think there's this idea of the scarcity mindset.
For sure.
That we think that, there's only a certain number of people that will buy certain things. And it's all about connection, right? You are selling it at the same price or even a little bit higher than I am. If they connect with you, they'll buy from you.
Right? 100%.
And they won't go to my retail website, right? But the point is that I think to maintain those levels of business, so even though if I'm wholesaling it to you at that price, I can't just be like, let me just add a little bit more and sell it on my retail site. I have to make sure that you're also able to make money on it.
For sure.
And sell at the minimum that you are or higher.
1,000,000%. And I'm very fortunate in that I have so much stuff that nobody else has. That definitely helps. But I'm not worried about what all these other vendors are doing, what the vendors are doing, but it is, let me tell you this is where it gets difficult. When, for instance, we go to 30A, right? And they say, okay, Mindy, you sold this, whatever it is, for this price. Well, I saw that brand sell it for $20 cheaper. I'm like, well, that was a freak deal. They were doing some kind of clearance deal, whatever.
Defending them.
Yes, I am, but I also don't want to deal with that as a boutique owner, right? I don't want my customer service getting blown up because, we sold it for this price. And we're always, for the most part, we do not do our margins like anybody else because we can do a little bit less margin because of the fact that we sell 75% of our own brand, right? So we can do a less margin on other stuff. So it's just a catch-22. No matter what with the brands retailing. And then you also have to worry about, are they reaching out to your customers, that's a no-go.
No,
if you're a wholesaler, you just can't reach out to boutique owners, customers. It's not cool. What it's going to do is bite you in the butt and you're not going to be able to recover from it.
Yeah.
So just as long as they don't do that, I don't care what people do, really. You just got to keep your prices the same. I don't even care if you're making them way higher. Keep them the same as what I sell it. That's it. Especially because we have people that have consumables where I'm not going to always have their stuff on my website available because I just can't keep it in stock. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22, and I understand why some of the smaller boutiques feel like it is competition. But if you stay in your own lane, the best thing I ever did was I used to have customers would come in and say, so-and-so copied you, or customers would say, oh my God, can you believe they used your exact picture and your exact wording and all this? And I was like, oh my God, I'm devastated. I can't believe this. But if somebody's copying you, that means you've thought of it first.
Yeah.
You're already on to the next thing, and they're still worried about what you're doing.
Yep.
And you're already doing more stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about what you're doing. And I literally, if people message me that, I just don't even look at the message. I don't care. I don't care what anybody's doing.
Yeah.
I
think that's like the maturing point in this industry is like, I used to care a lot about that too. First few years, I was like, we got to go, press or, do a lawsuit. This, that. And now I just realized like, hey, that just means that we did something right. Now I'm even more excited about what we're going to do next.
Yes. Your sequin tops. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and when you think about fashion, everything kind of looks like something. There's not very many things that have just not been made.
Yeah, I mean, it's trends.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, a leopard pair of pants. You know how many people's going to do a leopard pair of pants? 100,000 brands. And it's so hard. You just got to not. That was one of my biggest things, is not worry about what anybody else is doing ever.
Absolutely. All right. I got a fun question for you. You pulled up in a Corvette today and you said you hardly drive it. It was just more of like a meaningful purchase for you.
Yeah.
What is something that you would say is a guilty pleasure purchase for you with whenever you hit a milestone?
Well, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to have, we used to call them in-ground pools, right? Man, if you had an in-ground pool, you were rich, right? That was the thing. That was the one thing that if you had an in-ground pool, oh my God, you must have been rich. I bought myself two things whenever I met my goals. And the first one was my in-ground pool, and I love it. And it's the best purchase of my life. And then I hit a goal and bought myself that car. And I'm not going to lie, that was the dumbest purchase because I can't take it anywhere. Nothing fits in it. And this is literally, I've had it for over a year now. It's literally the first time I've driven it anywhere but the warehouse or just a town to get something to eat. So it's not very feasible, but it's just something you go, well, I did it,
Yeah.
So, and I never dreamed in a million years I would have a pool or a car or any of that. Never. I mean, what's crazy is now we are starting to create generational wealth for my family. So now it's not just about us. It is, we got the right money people in line to help, because a lot of stuff I don't know. We've never had money, so we don't know, right? You have to get those people that do know and be very careful of them. You got to make sure that you're just watching all of that all the time. But now it's about creating generational wealth and seeing what we can do this on top of this while building this.
What was a pinch me moment you had recently? Or a pinch me moment that you can think back to and say, wow, look what we've done.
When I walked into prom and it was just beautiful. It was stunning. Annie she does so much, and she did everything this year because I was so busy with everything else. So she did everything. And when I walked in, it was done. It was perfect. It was beautiful. And all of my customers there, plus the charity and Mama June from TV and Justin came. It was just, when I walked in, it seemed unreal. When Junior and I were driving over there, we're like, this doesn't even seem like this is possible, right? Just doesn't even seem like it's real. There was a time we didn't even have a credit card. We only had debit cards. We didn't have a credit card. We couldn't even rent a car. We didn't even know you had to have a credit card to rent a car. Like, there was just so many things we just didn't know, and we learned as we went. And so many people told Junior, don't quit your job. You're so dumb to quit your job, because he was an elevator mechanic in the union. And people told him, oh my God, you're so dumb. You're going to lose everything, everything. And then we had this big charity event, and it was definitely a pinch me moment. like
That's awesome.
seeing all the people. And when we went to the pre-prom party, we do it at a place in Fort Worth called Pete's Piano Bar, and they opened at 7, and there was 70 something people in line to get in. They were just there for Mindy's before they even opened, and I was like, this is unbelievable. But it just shows, no matter what, anything is possible. Even if you don't have the money. Like, we didn't have the money to build a big business, but we bought a little at a time. And don't overbuy. That's the worst thing you can do. And it is harder to do business the way I do it. But when you start taking out loans and you get these investors, that can go so south so fast and ruin everything you're working yourself to death for. Was it hard doing it without help? Of course it was. But now, no matter what, God forbid I woke up tomorrow and was hurt, we're good. Everything's good. I don't owe anybody. No one's going to have to take it over. Nothing. Everything's great. Everything's good. So I think that's so important because it's real easy. Certain platforms that just popped off for a little bit, they ended up hurting me in the long run, promised me the world and wanted me to go get $1 million loans from the bank to buy 50,000 pairs of jeans and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, why would I do that? That's insane. And thank the good Lord that I did not. And they were very convincing, but thank goodness I didn't, because that all went south quick. Because everybody can tell you to spend your money, but you need to think and talk to a no person before you take big risk like that, right?
Yeah.
It's good to take big risk, but you got to be careful with it too.
That's where we see your cautiously thriving side, right? So
Right.
I think, Mindy, you are such an inspiration to so many, to me as a business owner. Every time I talk to you, I just get this fire in my belly to like figure things out and take care of the people that I love, take care of the people that give us their heart and soul into the business. And you do that, you practice it. And so thank you for being who you are. We love you for everything you are. And thank you so much for being part of our industry.
Thank you so much for having me today. It was awesome.